ご視聴の前に一つお伝えさせてください。もしご覧になっている途中でご気分が優れなくなった場合は、どうか遠慮なくご視聴をおやめください。概要欄には相談窓口のリンクをご案内しております。今お辛いお気持ちを抱えている方がいらっしゃいましたら、ぜひ一人で悩まず周りの方や専門機関にご相談ください。
Oh, very pink, very vibrant, cheerful color. Is this the main character? Wait, what? What is that? Is that an octopus? Oh, so the pink represents this octopus. Oh, this child looks rough. I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl yet, but I'm hungry pea. So I'll be analyzing the opening sequence as well, since a lot of viewers like my analysis. So here we go. What I noticed is very colorful, vibrant scenes similar to the color pink, which now I see that represents the octopus. And we see this rocket ship, which represents imagination and capacity to be creative and not tainted by reality, so to speak, which of course is a microcosm of childhood, children, and innocence. Yep, more drawing. This is a very cool imagination. The octopus went to jail. Nice mugshot though. Interesting clock representative. Oh, looks like the child has a dog. Who is this blonde girl? This blonde girl has the villain vibe. She has the vibe of an op, as my high school kids from my high school ministry would say. She has big antagonist energy, this blonde girl, just from that stare and the glare. Who's this boy? We see this pink octopus, which I'm guessing is also the main character. We saw that clock in one of its eyes earlier, and then now it's time traveling seemingly. So I'm wondering, does this octopus have some sort of a time traveling or time unwinding abilities? Otherwise, why is there so many clocks? Oh yeah, this blonde girl is definitely the bully. Yep, definitely villain vibe. Is the octopus trying to do forced reconciliation? That octopus gives off a troll vibe. It's just a massive, cheerful, innocent troll. Okay, the opening sequence looks very happy and very cheerful and very childlike. Very cool animation style. I don't recall watching any anime recently in the last at least 5 years that represents this type of specific animation style. So it's very, very cool. Yeah, so thanks for the recommendation. And so far, so good, even though we're 2 minutes in. To You in 2016. So the story is based in 2016, and as soon as I said that, so far so good. I feel like I will be biting my tongue soon after. Oh boy. The octopus is literally from planet Happy, and it's on a mission to spread happiness. It's very interesting. I know a lot of my clients as a psychotherapist who comes to me, usually their primary goals, and most, if not all of my clients who seek therapy support, at least with me, is they want to be happy, they want to stop feeling miserable, they want to stop the suffering. That suffering could be fill in the blank. Misery, trauma, broken attachment styles, anything in between. And what I tell them is, I'm not a god, nor do I have any savior complex, nor I am Morpheus from Matrix. And I'm definitely not Neo. So I don't have any red pill or blue pill or a magic wand to magically erase or make your suffering go away. That's not how therapy or any healing modality works. But rather, my job is to help you get unstuck from your circumstances, whatever that may be, and gives you and equips you with skill sets and evidence-based practices and skill sets to increase and expand your capacity to deal with the suffering. So my job is not to make you happy. That's not possible. I wish. But if that were real, I and many other psychotherapists will be out of a job, right? So that's not the goal. But the goal is giving you ability to distress tolerance, or tolerate distress, right here, distress tolerance, giving you capacity to sit with discomfort, to manage your symptoms. It's these suffering that makes us appreciate the other side, the promised lands, that is absence or reduction of suffering. So I'm very split and conflicted about this octopus coming from a planet of happy and the mission of spreading happiness, because happiness is not like a coin you can just hand out. We cannot just be Oprah and say, you get a car, you get a car, you get a happiness, you get a happiness. I wish, but that's not how human experience and human condition works. Yeah, oh, that's rough. Yeah, jeez. Shizuka-chan. Do these octopuses from, is the plural for octopus? Is octopus the plural? Octopi? But do these octopus creatures from planet Happy, are they incapable of feeling pessimistic? Are they incapable of feeling traumatized? Because despite all those traumatic experiences, clearly it's very cheerful, it's very optimistic, it's still glistening with this gleeful energy until Shizuka sounds like rescued the octopus by giving it bread. Shizuka, just based on her brief appearance, is exuding sad, very traumatic energy just from her eyes. I mean, I do this for a living, right? So I can, if a client like Shizuki walked through my door for my clinical practice, I can immediately tell since the get-go the amount of emotional baggages and trauma Shizuka carries. But this octopus, which I'm guessing is the takopi, represents complete opposite. Absence of low energies and nothing but up. Thank you, P. So if you look at Shizuki, here is some of my psychological profiling of her so far. She has no facial expressions. Her voice and her tonation is very flat. So we call that flat affect. Definition right here. Flat affect is the display of our emotions through our facial expressions. And based on flat affect or not, we can sort of tell since the get-go about some of their mental health conditions and psychological states. And we do that as part of our initial assessment or intake as part of MSE, mental status exam. Definition right here. Mental status exam. Like, are they well-groomed? How's their hygiene? Do they smell? Do they seem like, how's their affect, right? Their speech, their body language. So just based on Shizuki's flat affect, her lack of facial expressions, I can already tell that Shizuki definitely suffers from depression and even major depressive disorder. Definition right here, MDD. Not all depression is clinically based, but all clinically based depression, such as major depression disorder, comes with a host of comorbidities. To a severity point, suicide, suicidality, active daily living impairment right here, ADL impairments, which is our ability to brush our teeth, shower. We lose interest in things that we used to enjoy. Food no longer tastes as good. We no longer lose drive or motivation to go out, get out of bed, and so on. Another criteria, most, not even children, if I saw this creature, we will be enamored. We will be overjoyed by, oh my gosh, we'll have that puppy voice, right? You know how people change their voices when they're touching or talking or playing with like a cute kitty or a dog? Doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl. I've seen grown-ass men, aka me, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, a veteran. Oh my gosh. At least that's how I talk to my kitties. So, but we don't see any of that cute aggression or cute behaviors with Shizuka. She's like, what? Her voice is still very monotone. Her facial expression is still very flat affect. There's no fluctuations. That's the severity of her depression just from seeing her for like 20 seconds.
タコピー。静香ちゃんが言うなら似てるのかもしれない。ぜひともあれをさせてほしいピー。これはハッピー道具の一つ。
Happy gadgets.
自由に飛ぶことができるんだピー。
That's cool. But no wonder you're a capturer, dude. Jeez, be more discreet.
次は静香ちゃんもやってみるピー。
Takopi is so happy.
私はいいや。じゃあパンは給食残したやつだから気にしないで。
Oh, Shizuka is very kind.
なんでだピー。
Why P?
楽しいピのに。
だって空なんて飛べたって
Oh.
どうせ何も変わらないし。
This is the perfect, beautifully powerful display of Shizuka's deep depression. Just based on these criteria alone, I'm actually going to give her an MDD, major depressive disorder. So far she checked off quite a few criteria. And you need to meet 5 out of 7 criteria per DSM-5 for MDD, major depressive disorder diagnosis. She has flat affect, low mood, loss of interest. Third criteria. 4, we already talked about flat affect, but look at how stiff and not animated her body language is. Her speech patterns is very constricted, right? Another criteria for major depressive disorder. So based on this criteria alone, Shizuka already probably is eligible for MDD, but of course she's not my actual client. And it usually takes about 3 to 6 months of observation and clinical data for us to give an actual DSM-5 based diagnosis. She said, even if I could fly, nothing would change. That's the severity of her depression, and it's her feeling of learned helplessness. Definition right here. Learned helplessness is a psychological state, an emotional response that many people feel, where no matter the amount of effort they exert, no matter the amount of things they try and attempt to improve their circumstances, nothing changes. they still feel equally stuck. Wow, I can tell that the show is about to take a dark turn and gets really, really more intense and sad. But just look at that heartbreaking face. No child, 4th grade or otherwise, should have a face and facial expressions as such. It's very, very sad. The wind blowing, very powerful storytelling ability to show the sadness.
かもしれないっぴ。
Do you see how rudimentary, or I guess more fittingly elementary, pun intended, since Shizuka is an elementary student, how elementary the reasoning for Takopi is? Could it be that she has flown before? Is that why she said no? But do you see what I'm saying? Takopi's understanding of Shizuka and human condition is very elementary and very rudimentary so far.
ちょっと静かに。学校の人いるから見つかったら保健所。
マリナちゃんに言われた通り下敷きバリバリに折っといたよ。
Jeez.
明日の朝が楽しみ。
Called it the blonde hair girl who I knew had this villain energy. Bullying is, of course, is a very sensitive and delicate topic. At the same time, I think it's important for us in societies to an appropriate degree. I say it's appropriate because everyone is different and it always varies case by case. But I do want to urge all of us within our capacities, as long as it's appropriate, and we always prioritize the victims first, period. I do think that it will be helpful for us to humanize bullies a little bit more, because bullies are humans and bullies are often hurt people themselves. When someone that is hurt based on pent-up trauma, a cumulative toll of hurts, invalidations, not feeling accepted, neglected, and so on, if that person does not seek help, if that person does not receive or seek healing, they will inevitably, in a very heartbroken, traumatic way, recycle through their trauma by inflicting their hurt and trauma onto other people. It's a way of exerting control. Because as a victim yourself, you have no control agency or agency for control right here. You feel like you have no autonomy. You feel like there's nothing you can do in this life. Going back to the concept of learned helplessness or learned powerlessness. So what do many of these hurt individuals do? They in turn inflict the same hurt to other people. And these hurt victims and hurt people who are sad and traumatized become bullies to grasp that sense of control. Because in their own lives, there's nothing they can control. They're hurt. They're victims. They're entirely helpless and powerless. But when they're angry, when they're bullying other people, when they're inflicting pain into other innocent people, they feel like, oh, now there's something I can control. At least I could control their hurts. At least I can control my bullying onto them. I feel better. It's a very unhealthy cycle and it's very effed up, of course. But do you see what I'm saying? Hurt people. And if we do not humanize the bullies, they will never be, I guess, be humanized enough to receive help. Society will continue to neglect them, even though the genesis in the very beginning and the cause of their bullying is a result of them being neglected in the first place. Do you see how this vicious cycle never ends? So I do hope that we can humanize bullies only after we humanize and look after and take care of the victims first, always. I can already foresee her also representing some sort of a parental trauma, brokenness, broken attachment style, and negligence within her own household, because most children bullies are just that. Third one, jeez.
生活保護の金で買えるでしょ
I also feel sad for those other girls who are appeasing and who are seeking the approval of Marina. You can see it, very light and day. And bunch of girls who are bragging and showcasing about the bullying is like token of approval. Hey, I did this. Do you approve me now? Am I part of this cool girl popularity Marina group? Those girls who are also bullies themselves also represent respectively their own traumatic background, their own family trauma. Because if you come from a secure attachment style, you will not resort to bullying and seeking the approval of another alpha bully, in this case, Marina. So that entire group, I feel sympathy for them and I feel sad for them. And I hope that they can someday, when they're older, reflect and repent and acknowledge that they were simply hurt themselves. Very sad.
遊びの相談してるっぴか
See? Takopi doesn't get it.
ハッピーカメラハッピー画面にすぐ印刷されるんだっぴ
Very cheerful music. Nice.
そろそろ下敷き買いに行かなきゃ。文房具屋終わっちゃう。
That girl, the target of Marina's group's bullying was Shizuka. Oh, it's the idea of secondary trauma or vicarious trauma, definition right here. So what we just experienced is Shizuka going through 2 layers of traumatic process. Layer 1, in the first step, primary trauma of being the target and the victim of bullying herself. That's very straightforward. But there's a second layer of trauma, which is additional vicarious, which means she not only experienced the trauma herself, for the second time, she was re-traumatized vicariously by hearing about Marina's group talking about her own trauma as a third party. So she went through it the first time as a first POV, and she went through the second time as a third person POV. So she was not only traumatized by the bullying, but she was also re-traumatized by the trauma that happened in the first place. It's not 1 + 1. It compounds. It's like a tenfold compounding effect and impact on the bullying victim, in this case, Shizuka. Oh, she's been a subject of so much ongoing trauma and bullying, starting from her notebook, textbooks, her backpack, her writing board being broken for the 3rd time. Yeah, man.
また亡くなっちゃったみたいだから。
She said that because mine gone missing again, I think that's her effort of hopeful denial. I don't know if she was trying to deny with herself or to Takopi, but she didn't verbalize and she didn't verbally admit her writing board being broken for the 3rd time. So for her to acknowledge for a 3rd time that her whiteboard or writing board is broken, that would be a 3rd re-traumatization. And this is a reason why a lot of sexual assault victims, it's very hard for them to come forth. Because to seek help for sexual trauma, what do you have to go through? You have to A, relive your trauma, which is visceral and unspeakably painful. 2, you have to report that unspeakably painful traumatic experience of sexual assault to police authority. 3rd, you have to share your story. You have to create a picture clinically to psychotherapists or clinicians for the 3rd time. And after you go to police force, you usually have to do interviews with multiple different detectives, not one, to make sure your story is accurate, because there is a process called due process in American judicial system, because even the suspects have their right to get their names cleared before they're convicted. Think about all the traumatic processes, right? That's why a lot of sexual assault victims never really seek help, because it's just simply too painful and too grave of a pain for them to be re-traumatized, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but often 4 times or more based on the same traumatic experience. Same for Shizuka. That's why she didn't want to say, my whiteboard is broken again. She just said, it's gone missing again. I think it's her last ditch effort as her defensive mechanism right here, or surviving mechanism, to not acknowledge and verbalize that she's been bullied, but rather whiteboard has gone missing. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
静香ちゃんはとっても忙しいっぴ。
Again, I think just another revealing of how simple and elementary Takopi's perception of happiness is. It's very one-dimensional. You're either happy or not, and if you're not happy, what's the big deal? Just be happy. It gives off a lot of vibe of toxic positivity syndrome, definition right here. Being positive is not the default state. Just like 4 seasons of life, right? There are 4 seasons in life, just like emotions. There's ups and downs, the ebbs and flow. We cannot always be happy, because if we're always happy, then we become manic clinically. If we're always sad, we get depressed. That's why there's a natural biological systems and balance in our systems, neurochemically or biologically. It's a very optimized machine, and we are very optimized to be evolved as such. But Takopi gives off this very elementary, low-key toxic positive vibe, because, oh, what's the big deal? I'll just make her happy again tomorrow. Takopi, I think you're missing that point. But I don't blame you, because you're an alien octopus. Day 3.
今日のパンは甘いっぴ。
So does Takopi live in that sewage pipe?
セイランくん、いつでも素敵なアドバイスをくれるお友達道具だっぴ。
6 days.
今日はすぐ帰らなきゃ。チャッピーにご飯あげなきゃ。
Chappie, that must be that dog. Quick pause before this heartwarming scene of Chappie running to hug Shizuka. Man, dogs are humans' best animals, but I have 2 kitties and they're also best friends. Or I guess they're more like roommates or like overlords that we must serve. Anyway, I had a weird thought about, it's completely unrelated, but does Takopi have some sort of a same Doraemon pouch where she can, or it can just endlessly pulling out different gadgets? Because Takopi is tiny. But somehow Taco's been pulling out all these gadgets, starting with camera, the happy ring, and all these gadgets every single day in the last 6 days. So yeah, does Taco P also have like a Doraemon pouch? What's going on? And comment below if you've watched Doraemon and if you know what I'm talking about. Right? Doraemon, one of my favorite animes watching growing up as a 90s baby. What a wonderful show that was.
これがチャッピーでかいピー
Oh, what a good doggy. Good doggo. Good doggo. Aw.
笑ってるピー
食べちゃダメだよ。
A lot of people don't know this. Many depressed individuals, a lot of my clients, when they're during their severest, lowest point, they often get a dog for companion to help with their social isolation or loneliness. It does help, but it's a temporarily alleviating and relief of their symptoms. What I mean by that is dogs, as wonderful as they are, could also be a band-aid for a root cause. Unless you seek help professionally, so with accredited professionals, the root cause of your depressions or anxiety or fill in the blank will not truly go away. Whatever avenues of distraction you pick, in this case, having a wonderful dog, it does help and can lift up your or create relief for your depressive symptoms momentarily, but eventually it comes back, right? And oftentimes, here's the dark truth. These dogs and cats are animals that the companions we get when we're not feeling as good. Our hormones sink and they actually pick up on our depressions and our anxiety. A lot of anxious folks during their peak anxiety and depressive states, their dogs also tend to be extremely anxious and extremely depressed and very codependent almost in a way, because that's the attachment you created for your dogs. Just like our parents are responsible for the attachment styles we create for children. Same parallel dynamic. So because of that, if you get dogs or cats during your suffering days, I hope you keep that in mind, that there are some hidden costs and your pets will pick up some of the tendencies and some of those depressions or anxiety because you guys live together and the hormones do sync and synchronize.
家の中上がっていいよ。お母さんもうお仕事行ったから。
You can also see the struggling economy just from this household setting.
パンってなんだピ
お客さんと一緒にお店行くやつ。
パパはどこだピ
パパはいないの。
Oh.
人間はママ一人で子供を作れるピすごいピ
Again, Taco P completely misses the point. The extremely heartbreaking, saddening fact about Shizuka growing up in a single parent household. And I don't know what the mother does, but sounds like she's some sort of a sex work or escorting business, accompanying different clients to different places, just based on how vague her response was. And maybe she doesn't fully know what the mom does. Maybe the mom does Uber, I'm not really sure. My brain just went through like a dark place because this is a dark show. Taco P is like, oh my gosh. Again, her childlike, almost this naivete, naive innocence. Humans only need mothers, even though us, the audience, through this 4D dimension break, we see and we can gauge the amount of unspeakable trauma, once again, that's been revealed by Shizuka.
チャッピーとはすごい小さい頃からずーっと一緒。好きなの。チャッピーがいれば私は大丈夫。どんな痛いことや。
Oh, heartbreaking. So I could be wrong, but I feel like the sentiment of what Shizuka said, I don't care what happens as long as Chappie's with me, I will be okay. I think that's foreshadowing of something horrible is going to happen to Chappie. If she doesn't have Chappie, then nothing will be fine and everything will be broken. Because Shizuka is already going through just unbelievable amount of trauma, bullying, broken attachment style. Is that why there's suicide warning? Is there going to be suicide? Jeez.
ハッピー星は星中にハッピーフルーツがなっててとっても美味しいんだピ静香ちゃんも遊びに来るといいピは
私がいけないよ。私魔法とか信じないから。
魔法じゃなくハッピードッグ
いけないよ。どこにも。ハッピー星にも。パパのところにも。
She feels like there's nothing she can do and nothing will ever be different. This feeling of depression and at the bottom of a pit of despair is long-lasting and everlasting. And I tell my depressive clients all the time, I know you feel like the depression you're in now is forever, but it's not. Nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. Your depression, your trauma, your suffering, your despair, your suicidal ideation, this too shall pass. Everything comes to an end eventually. The good, the bad, but most importantly, also the ugly. So she feels extremely stuck. Yeah, man.
あまねく宇宙にハッピーを広めるのです。ただし気をつけて、決して掟を破ってはなりません。
What's the rules?
僕はまだ道具を使ってもらうこともできないっぴ。ハッピー道具もたくさんあるっぴし、ものすごい笑顔にしてみせるっぴ。
Aww, very innocent aspiration.
ないけど、でもいつかきっと。
Aww,
Taco
Shizuka
pee.
smiled. It's a first smile.
また明日。
Shizuka said that I don't believe in magic. I don't know if you guys felt this way, but when I heard that, it's actually absolutely heartbreaking. Because you know what's the only acceptable group of age in this stages of development by Eric Erikson right here? That's only stage of developmentally speaking that's acceptable to believe in magic is, you guessed it, children and childhood. When we were a child, we could have imaginary friends. We could believe in magic, fairy tales. But as a child, Shizuka says she does not believe in magic because of her trauma and bullying and suffering she's been enduring. God knows how long. Absolutely heartbreaking. But also, I'm guessing Takopi's mom is just a giant octopus. Oh man, what a show. Oh my gosh, dude. Fuck, I was not ready for this. Oh my god, dude. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, dude.
静香ちゃん、早速来てく
Is this day 7?
待ってたっぴー。それはチャッピーの首のやつだっぴね。
喧嘩したの、友達と。
仲直り理論、すぐに仲直りができちゃうっぴ。しかも丈夫で無限に伸ばすことができるから、遠くにいるお友達とも安
Oh
心。
my gosh, look at the stark contrast with Shizuka and Takopi.
いいね。それ使いたい。
じゃあ早速お友達
自分でゆっくりやってみたいから貸してくれる？
道具を使うときは、
Hapian, that's the name of this alien species.
決して異星人の手に道具を委ねてはなりません。
I guess humans are aliens in this scenario. Oh, it's the first time Shizuka asking for help. Shizuka asking for help.
カスピー、もしわからないことがあったらいつでも聞きに来て。
First violation of the rules.
お友達と仲直りできるといいっぴね。
Oh boy, I don't know if I'm ready for what's to come. It's with the setup, it's clear that something happened to Chappie. And she said that she had a fight with her friends, probably one of the bullies, and maybe the bullies did something to Chappie. Oh god. I mean, I could literally feel her suicidal ideations and her desire for suicide like written all over her face. And there's like this suicidal vibe just literally exuding from her in the most depressing and traumatic way. Another thing I've been thinking about is I wonder what's the symbolic representations or underlying symbolism for Takopi's endless happy gadgets. Obviously, gadgets to make you happy. What is the only mission for Happy or for Takopi? To spread happiness, right? Of course, it's a very binary, elementary level of happiness as I talked about. But here's my deeper interpretation of that. If we're to extrapolate into our daily life, I wonder it's supposed to represent the superficial understanding of what happiness is. This hedonic pursuits definition right here. Hedonism or hedonic pursuit is this false belief that when we acquire more things in life, they will make us happy, but they do not. With the idea of hedonic adaptation or hedonic treadmill, it's an endless cycle. We desire something and then we get it. Once we get it, we get bored and tired of that new thing after 6 months to a year. So we have new desire and we have to get new things. So we have another desire, we have to get more things, endless. It's a hamster wheel. That's what we call it, the tridonic treadmill. It never ends. I wonder if happy gadgets represents hedonic pursuits. When we feel like, or I guess I call it the I will be happy when syndrome right here. I will be happy when ... syndrome. I will be happy when I get a girlfriend. I will be happy when I get a promotion. I will be happy when I gotta buy a house. Fill in the blank. But often than not, when we get there, we are not happy. And all of Takopi's solutions in light of Shizuka's suffering and pain and depression is try this gadget, try this happy gadget. What about this? Try this happy ribbon. It will make you and your friends be friends forever. Can we force friendship? No. So one of the only few choices we do have and options is picking our spouses and picking our friends. Friendship is a bi-directional. It's a both-way bridge. It's not a one-way highway. It's both ways. Right? So do you see how Takopi's fixation of throwing gadgets at the problem kind of represents this hedonic pursuit of happiness for many people, which doesn't work, by the way.
心配ないと思うピが。
Oh, I hope Shizuka's not gonna hang herself from using that ribbon or something. Oh, fuck. I mean, she looked like she was on the verge of suicide because I work with suicidal clients quite often. And suicide prevention, as I shared in my reaction to A Silent Voice, has a very, very special place in my heart. One of my specialty clinically is suicide prevention because as a veteran, I've lost numerous battle buddies to suicide. But based on my suicide background, prevention backgrounds, I could already tell that something awful and potentially Shizuka is going to attempt suicide. Man, is this why you guys wanted me to analyze this show? Jeez. Why isn't Takopi using the happy wings?
こともよくあるピし、一人じゃほどくの大変だっぴからね。
Yeah, Chappie's gone. Not the dog, dude. Damn.
静香ちゃん
Oh, I'm not ready for this. Oh gosh. Please don't be dead. That's the ribbon? Oh, fuck. Fuck.
静香ちゃん何
Fucking knew it, dude. Oh, man. Oh, I just need a few seconds. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I love making predictions and foreshadowing attempts, like in free run series and so on. The only type of prediction I do not enjoy doing is anything suicide or loss of life related. Because of my suicide prevention background and my clinical work, I saw that setup coming as I did. But it's devastating and absolutely heart-wrenching when we're actually here. After her suicide, her body's dangling in midair using the happy ribbon. Happy ribbon is supposed to represent friendship, companionship, social relationships. But here it's being misused as a fatality, a mode of fatal control. Fatality of Shizuka's life after she killing herself through suicide. We don't really use the word committing suicide in the suicide prevention literature anymore because committing glamorizes suicide in a very unhealthy way. So we don't really say commit suicide because it's not a commitment. And we see again this stark contrast, this powerful depiction in a very effed up, emotionally heavy way of Takopi's ongoing untainted innocence of being childlike and not understanding. Takopi doesn't get it yet, but we do as the audience. Because remember, she said, as long as Chappie is around, I will be okay. If Chappie is not around, then the world has lost its meaning and there's no more reason for Shizuka to stay alive. I have a suicidal client right now that I'm actively working with every week. He is only alive and he's only not doing any suicide attempts because he has a English bulldog that's 2 years old. So he knows that at least for the next 8 to 10 years, since apparently bulldogs have a shorter lifespan because they're a heavier size, he knows that he will not kill himself because that dog is that emotional basket of hope and living and comfort for my clients, even though he is in his 40s now. Same thing, broken attachments, he's very lonely, no family support, and a bunch of other things. So I'm also very fearful for that client because if something happens to a dog, it's going to be very, very scary for that client. And statistically, every psychotherapist and helpers who work with suicidal clients will inevitably, statistically lose at least one client to suicide. That's just a fact. It is what it is. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm prepared to do so because we're not saviors at the end of the day. We don't get to control fate. People get to decide what they want to do with their lives, as helplessly as that makes me sometimes, even as an expert myself. But back here, that's what we're experiencing right here. Shizuka sounds like pulled the trigger because she finally lost all hope with the loss of Chappie.
あのリボンは柱に結びつけてもしょうがないピよ。降りてきていいピよ。静香ちゃん。
Oh, look at those bruises, dude.
静香ちゃん。静香ちゃん。
Oh, she's foaming in her mouth. So it's been hours since she killed herself.
なんで死んだ静香ちゃんが死んだ
This is worse than my congestion.
決して異星人に道具を
This show is so dark. Oh my gosh, dude. It's like I'm watching and reacting to Violet Evergarden again.
静香ちゃんごめんね、
Oh, it's heartbreaking on so many levels. One last thing I'll say is, oh gosh, I already reacted for, how long is this? An hour and 25 minutes, and we still have 17 minutes left in the episode. Jeez, this is going to be a long one. Speaking as a clinician, as a psychotherapist, I think another reason why Shizuka feels so helpless, in addition to everything we said, is also how invalidating Takopi has been, right? It's obviously not Takopi's fault that Shizuka killed herself. It's not because she landed her ribbon without her supervision as her mother instructed. When there's a will, there is a way. Once an individual made up their minds to kill themselves, they will find a way, period. So it's not Takopi's fault in the way that Takopi believes it is. It's not because she gave the ribbon. It's not because she broke the rules. It's actually because Takopi does not understand the human condition. Think about the level of invalidation. Think about how suffocating Shizuka felt. Anytime she was venting, anytime she was expressing herself, suffering or otherwise, to Takopi, and Takopi's response is what? Oh, let's fix this. Let's fix that. Try this happy gadget. Try that happy gadget. Takopi, I think, in addition to representing hedonic pursuit of happiness, I think Takopi also represents naive altruism. Definition right here. I know that sounds like a oxymoron, but altruism can be naive. Here's what I mean, twofold. I'll keep this brief. How many times have we experienced not feeling better after venting endlessly to some people? I know when we vent to our best friends and our loved ones who understand us, who knows how to practice active listening, definition right here, who understands how to hold space emotionally, which is a therapeutic skill set and practice, we feel heard, we feel validated, we feel acknowledged. And that does help tremendously with how we feel. Amazing. But a lot of times when we're just venting to maybe strangers or to people who don't understand us as well, we don't really feel a sense of relief. If anything, we get even more frustrating and we feel suffocating even more. Why? Because endless venting without being grounded in emotional understanding does not always help. Takopi never acknowledged Shizuka's feeling. Takopi never validated Shizuka's feeling. Takopi never made Shizuka feel seen. And if you look at Dr. David Rudd's research right here, David Rudd, he's a former president of the University of Memphis, and he's one of the forerunning suicide prevention experts as a clinical psychologist. He established 3 criteria that predicts high suicide risk and learns helplessness for a high suicide risk population. 3 criteria. And I want to share this with you guys. So maybe you guys can remember this, write this down, and use it to monitor some people that you're concerned in your own life with potential suicide risk. Criteria 1, I am unlovable. When someone says and feels that they're unlovable, it's a very, very high alarm because they feel like no one accepts them, no one validates them, and no one loves them. I am unlovable. Criteria 2, I am unsolvable or I am unresolvable. What that means is they feel like their circumstances cannot be solved or fixed, and how they feel, often depression and hopelessness, will be constant forever. Very dangerous signs. Criteria 3, I am a burden. When they feel like they're burdensome to other people, the cost of their existence and being alive creates more burden for their loved ones. We should be very, very concerned. Because how do we remove that burden when we feel like we are the greatest burden to other people, our loved ones? We remove that burden by suicide. And as we all see that Shizuka checked off all 3 and ultimately led to her killing herself because that's how she felt. Please check in on your loved ones and make them feel seen, make them feel heard, and make them feel acknowledged that they are not alone, that they are lovable, their circumstances can be solved and changed over time, and they are not a burden.
覆す手段は存在しない。
Death is the only constant.
なる英知の道具であっても死者を蘇らせる。
Oh, Takopi's crying. It's not your fault, Takopi, but you probably want to learn some about human condition and human emotions first.
写真を撮るピター。タイムカメラ機能。
Time camera.
それをカメラに読み込ませると。
Whoa, this is like Doraemon, dude. Didn't Doraemon also was able to unwind time?
なぜ君が自殺をしてしま
Learns hopelessness and helplessness.
わない。わ
Oh, the innocence of Takopi.
笑ってもらえるように。
Is this the time being unwind and process?
タコピー
Whoa.
急に
Whoa, it happened.
カメラ持って固まっちゃって。
Whoa. Does Takopi retain those memories of the past? How does that work?
タコピー
なんでもないピ。
This is their first day of encounter.
もっと静香ちゃんのことを知らなきゃならないピ。まずは静香ちゃんが毎日行ってるところ、名前は確か。
School?
僕は明日から一緒に学校に連れてってほしいピー。
According to the suicide prevention literature, the most effective intervention that anyone can do with someone who is at risk of suicide is simply asking point blank, hey, are you okay? Are you thinking about suicide or killing yourself? That's it. Why? Is because it's very viscerally uncomfortable for anyone to muster those words. 2, it validates those people's invisible suffering and their suicidal urges. And 3, makes them feel seen and acknowledged. It makes their invisible suffering seen and acknowledged. Remember, guys, for us to prevent someone from killing themselves, we have to make them feel seen, make them feel heard, make them feel acknowledged, and let them know that their circumstances are not forever and they're not a burden. So now I guess we'll see Takopi accompanying Shizuka into her school life and seeing, I guess, the more vivid details of bullying and all the trauma Shizuka goes through before she meets up with Takopi. Oh boy.
ここなら静香ちゃんのこともっと知れるはずだ。
Oh, look at Marina's bullying face.
おはよう寄生虫。
She's calling Shizuka a parasite. She's projecting what she feels like she is. This is her very traumatic but also horrible way of grasping for control, like I talked about.
静香ちゃん、大丈夫だピ。
Going back to toxic positivity syndrome, in light of that bullying and that verbal abuse, what does Takopi say? Oh, it's okay, Shizuka-chan. Again, Takopi is not in the wrong. Takopi just doesn't know. But it's more about when someone's going through suffering and a hard time, don't just tell them it will be okay. Nothing is wrong. It's fine. Everything will be fine. Stop saying these things. It's so infuriating and so invalidating to their circumstances. If everything's fine, then why are they going through it? Obviously, it's not fine. And it's okay to not be okay. It's fine to not being fine. Can we normalize that?
ピーバナに見えるようになるんだピ。
Oh, that's cool. Good disguise. Very practical.
なんで頭に毒ダミつけてんの？
Oh, interesting. Oh, even Takopi's attempt to disguise herself became another reason for bullying because now the Marina and the group are making fun of Shizuka even more, saying that, why are you wearing a flower, you weirdo? And obviously Shizuka's like, I don't want more reasons to be bullied. So she's stuffing Takopi away.
久世さん宿題忘れちゃったんだって。
Oh, what a teacher's pet, Marina, dude.
じゃあ東
わかったピ。静香ちゃんは宿題を忘れちゃったのが悲しくて死んじゃったんだ。
No, bro. What kind of stupid reasoning is that, dude? Oh my gosh.
35。
カッコ2が162。
ひらら坂なんだわ
See, this is the reason why having good intention without fully understanding could have detrimental impact. I could already call this, just from the setup, that Takopi's superficial attempts at helping out Shizuka is going to backfire because now we see that Maria in the back is even more pissed off. So again, intention and impact. We could have the best intention in life, but if we do not understand the other person who are trying to help, that's what we call naive altruism. So I'm more of a fan of effective altruism, which is a movement pioneered by a Scottish philosopher and author, William MacAskill, right here. William MacAskill is one of the co-founders for the movement effective altruism. What that means is doing well-intentioned acts for the sole sake of our own values and our own desire without understanding of the other party is naive and selfish. That's what Takopi is demonstrating. And because of Takopi's well-intended but superficial acts of good deeds, it will backfire and Shizuka will suffer more. Very obvious with this setup.
もう昼休みですけど。
給食を残しちゃうのが
Takopi is also displaying very concrete thinking. Definition right here. What that means is Takopi is taking everything very concretely and very literally. Takopi doesn't understand the underlying emotions and underlying sentiments. Takopi could only gauge and understands based on the literal sense.
僕に任せるっぴ。これで大丈夫だっぴね。
Oh, Takopi. Takopi will be the worst therapist there ever is. Means well, but absolutely horrible. The better Shizuka is adapting and doing well, the less control and more infuriating Marina feels. Because remember what I said, bullies are hurt people who are hurting other people because they feel loss of control in their own lives. So the only time they feel like they're in control is when they're in bullying mode. But this time we see the bully victim Shizuka is, I guess, doing semi better because of Takopi, which makes Marina even more pissed off and feeling like she's losing control yet again, which is triggering for Marina. And then her bullying is probably gonna ramping up.
これはもしや静香ちゃんとマリナちゃんは喧嘩してるんだっぴか。
Oh, finally something sensible, Takopi. Wow. Okay, you're not hopeless.
と相手のハッピー髪を隠すっぴ。これは素晴らし
What kind of juvenile way of fighting is this?
いから。マリナちゃんがノートを隠してたのも同じだっぴ。仲直りしたいから。
Takopi completely lacks picking up these social cues.
あれが喧嘩。
I guess Takopi's tone deaf with human emotions in that sense.
マリナちゃんが話あるって。
Oh gosh, more bullying's to come. Just say no. Oh, she's scared. Shizuka's scared.
本当お話しすることだっぴよ。
Again, Takopi's toxic positivity syndrome and naive altruism showing up. She doesn't get it.
お話がハッピーと思うんだっぴ。
タコピーはマリナちゃんと話したことがないから。
True.
そんな
Think about how triggering Takopi is for Shizuka. Very, very triggering also.
もしかしてものすごい大喧嘩だっぴか。
No shit, Takopi.
でも仲直りしないと。
I can't even be mad at Takopi because it's just such an innocent pink alien octopus. But it's like, come on.
変身パレット。姿に変身できるんだっぴ。
Whoa.
お話ししてくるっぴから。
That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty OP.
きっと
And I wish it was that ideal.
喋り方。
That's an idealized fantasy.
ねマリナちゃん待ってて。
Here we go. The brutal reality of bullying.
いや、キモいってその話し方。やめてって言ってんの。ごめん。僕とかピとかキモいのは知ってたけど嫌だからやめてね。
ごめんなさ
って
い。
話なんだけど、お前最近さ調子乗ってるよね。
ハッピー性ではあんなに強く相手を触ることはないっぴ。
We're seeing a rude awakening and Takopi finally being disillusioned right here. Disillusionment means our illusion is being shattered and we're finally confronting the brutality of what reality could be.
いないっぴ。なんか涙は。
Damn, that brutal force of slapping.
怖い。マリナちゃん。
Marina is showcasing a lot of antisocial, sociopathic behavior. Jesus, dude, what the? Oh my gosh, dude.
からアバズレが。
It's not just slapping, it's like breaking bones and shit, dude.
痛い痛い。泣きたい。逃げたい。
Absolute cruelty.
でもあのねマリナちゃんがなんで。
お前にだ。この人間のクズ。寄生して生きてるアバズレの娘が道徳語ってる暇。
Wait, what?
マリナちゃん。
Giving me my daddy? What?
だからその喋り方やめろって。
あこれ無理だ。
タコピー
They rewinded. Oh my gosh, there's so much in that scene. Holy crap, dude. Really? This is the reason why you guys wanted me to analyze this show? Oh my gosh, please give me some lighthearted recommendations next time, guys. Oh, I don't want to only do these heavy traumatic ones, but yes, very powerful show. A few things to say as we're coming to an end, sounds like. It looks like Shizuka's mother is an escort or involved in sex work. And sounds like Marina is targeting Shizuka because Marina's father got with Shizuka's mother as part of their sex work escort services. And sounds like Marina found out about her father's betrayal from their family by cheating on the mom / just getting with Shizuka's mother. Those are the circumstances that were revealed. And sounds like those are the reasons why Marina is targeting at Shizuka for the bullying and so on. Marina represents another broken family style, broken attachment, father's betrayal, feeling of neglect, feeling of loss of control. There's nothing Marina can do to stop her father from getting with Shizuka's mother. She can't stop it. But what she can do and what she can control instead is beating the shit out of Shizuka and bullying and causing endless suffering. Just as in Marina's twisted and distorted minds, Shizuka's mother caused endless suffering and brokenness in Marina's family by being an escort. I'm guessing that's her reasoning. Oh boy. But absolute cruelty. To a point that Taco P literally ran away.
もしかして
Is Taco P having realization? There was... Yes, Taco P.
行ってくるね。
やっぱり僕が代わってあげるべきだっぴ。今度こそうまく仲直りできるかも。
Okay, still optimistic. Trauma. Taco P experienced the visceral pain of physical abuse. And as a result, she freezes. She's paralyzed by her fear.
行きたいのに代わってあげたいのにでも
Okay, I respect her sense of responsibility and trying to help. Respect. It's admirable. Was that Taco P asking for teacher's help?
僕にできることがあったら何でも言ってよ。違う先生に相談するとかは？あの人ちょっと怖いし。
どうせ変わらないよ。
Is this kid the student president or something? Does he know what's going on? He sounds like he does.
静香ちゃんごめん。
タコピーが助けてくれたんでしょ。そのおかげで顔だけで済んだ。学校さ、マリナちゃんのお父さんと
Oh, that's what happened, yep.
嫌なことばっかって思ってたけど、
Intergenerational trauma cycle.
最近はちょっと悪くないんだ。
Because of Taco P
ごめんね。
or Chappy?
え？
僕はダメだっぴけどこれからも君を助けるっぴ。君がきっと死んじゃったりなんかしなくていいように。
放課後いじめ10連弾失敗するとかありえないんだけど。
10 days.
調子乗りやがっ。
What is she seeing? Oh.
パパはお夕飯あの人と食べるそうだから早く帰ってくれればいいのに。
Family trauma cycle.
マリちゃんはママの味方だよね。ママのお話聞いてくれるよね。
That solidifies everything I've been saying about Marina and most bullies. And this is our reason why we must seek help. Otherwise, the hurt will continue perpetuate and hurt people will continue to hurt other people by inflicting the pain they feel onto others, which is horrible. So the responsibility is within us. I know, and I feel very conflicted about Taco P as a character because Taco P is very innocent. It's very childlike. It wants the best and is very almost naively and innocently optimistic. I respect that. And sounds like Taco P is learning a little bit more about the human condition and trying to contextualize and further understand Shizuka from Shizuka's perspective instead of just what Taco P thinks. So I do, but Taco P is such an interesting character, and I'm not sure if I've seen any anime recently that has a protagonist like Taco P. Such a conflicting character. Character isn't conflicting, but it's summoning a lot of my conflicting feelings. Yeah, very, very interesting. So Taco P goes home with Shizuka now. Okay. Only companion in Shizuka's life was Chappy, and now Chappy and Taco P. Holy crap, dude. Yeah, this is not what I was expecting. But I do see why so many of you guys have been commenting for me to react to this in the last couple weeks or so. That's why I decided to react to this and pivot it from the fragrant flower.
今日のセカスト翻訳ポイント。このコーナーでは動画内のセカストの翻訳を一部取り上げ、なぜそのように翻訳したのか、その意図を解説するコーナーとなっています。今日の翻訳はこちら。
But if we do not understand the other person who are trying to help, that's what we call naive altruism.
大前提として、今回の動画はとても専門用語が多かったです。当然セカストも、そういった専門用語はネットで逐一調べています。ですが、ネットでは限界があるのか、あるいは翻訳自体がないのか、該当する訳語を見つけられなかった用語もかなりありました。その一つが、この用語、ナイーブ・アルトリズムです。まず一つ注意しないといけないのは、日本語で一般的にナイーブというと、繊細というような意味で使われることが多いと思います。しかし、英語のナイーブは世間知らずなとかウブなとか、そういう意味になっています。なので、条件反射的に繊細と訳してしまうといけないので、そこは注意したいところですね。さて、それを踏まえた上で、セカストは最初こんな風に翻訳していました。無邪気な利他主義、タコピーの子供らしさと、人間社会のことを理解していないこと、世間知らずの意味も出せて、ちょうどいいと思っていました。ですが、その後こんな説明がありました。この表現は二律背反的である。つまり、ナイーブとアルトリズムが矛盾したような意味になっているというのです。それを踏まえて無邪気な利他主義という翻訳を再考してみました。無邪気という言葉にはポジティブとネガティブ、両方のニュアンスがあると思います。そこで無邪気を浅はかなに変えてみました。こうすることでタコピーの静香ちゃんを助けようとする行為が、いかに思慮に欠けていた行為なのかの説明にもなると思ったのです。ですが、これが本当に適切な翻訳かどうかは、セカストだけで判断できるものではありません。無邪気な利他主義も言葉の響きとしては結構気に入っていました。皆さんはどう思いますか？他に翻訳の案があったら、ぜひ教えてほしいです。さて、皆さんの意見を伺ってみたい単語がもう一つあります。それがこれ。まず元の単語を辞書で引くと、こんな風に出てきます。法的効力を取り消す、無効にする、この意味を踏まえて、この単語が使われていた箇所をもう一度見てみましょう。
I think another reason why Shizuka feels so helpless, in addition to everything we said, is also how invalidating Takopi has been. Think about the level of invalidation. Think about how suffocating Shizuka felt.
いかがですか？ちょっとぶつ切りになってしまったのもありますが、パッと意味がわかる人は少なかったのではないでしょうか。この単語はもっと深く踏み込まないと翻訳が難しいと判断しました。調べてみると、心理学の世界でこの単語は不承認という風に訳されることが多いと分かりました。その意味を踏まえて、もっと踏み込んで考えた末に、相手のことを認めようとしないという意味だと判断しました。なので、最初のインバリデイティングは文脈を考えて、タコピーは静かのことを否定した。あるいは、理解しようとしなかった。という風に捉えて、タコピーの無理解だ。と翻訳しました。タコピーの否定的な態度。という翻訳も最初は考えましたが、タコピー自身が静香ちゃんに対して否定的であったというよりは、タコピーの無理解から来る無邪気な言葉で静香ちゃんを傷つけていたという感じだと思いました。なので、ここは言葉を変えて無理解としました。そしてその後のこれも、静香は理解されずどれだけ苦しかったかとしました。以上、こういう風に翻訳するに至ったプロセスを紹介しましたが、正直そこまで確固たる自信はありません。皆さんはどう思いましたか？これも
他に翻訳の案があったら教えてもらえると嬉しいです。セカスト自身もまだまだ勉強中ですので、温かい目で見守ってもらえると幸いです。以上、翻訳紹介のコーナーでした。
それでは今日出てきた英単語を振り返ってみましょう。
Analyze.
この単語は物事を細かく分解して理解したり、原因や意味を探るときに使う言葉です。データや問題、文章、人の行動などを深く調べるときに使われます。学校や研究、仕事の場面だけでなく、日常会話で状況を冷静に見極めるという意味でもよく使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The scientist will analyze the samples in the lab.
科学者は研究室でそのサンプルを分析する。
We need to analyze the situation before making a decision.
決定を下す前に状況を分析する必要がある。今回の動画はタコピーの原罪第1話の詳細な分析、または解析でしたね。こうやって詳細な解説を聞くと、いろいろと腑に落ちるシーンがたくさんあって、皆さんも感心したと思います。
Bully.
この単語は弱い立場の人を脅したり嫌がらせをする人を指します。学校でのいじめや職場でのパワハラなどでも使われます。また、動詞としていじめるという意味でも使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The bully took the kid's lunch money every day.
いじめっ子は毎日その子のお小遣いを奪った。
She stood up to the kids who tried to bully her friend.
彼女は友達をいじめようとした子供たちに立ち向かった。タコピーの原罪を語る上で欠かせない英単語だと思います。前述したように動詞にも名詞にもなります。今でもこんな嫌なことが横行しているので何度でも言います。いじめダメ、絶対。
Symptom.
この単語は病気や不調のサインを表す言葉です。咳や熱、頭痛など体が示す異常の兆候を指します。また、比喩的に社会問題の兆候という意味でも使えます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
A cough and fever are common symptoms of the flu.
咳と発熱はインフルエンザの一般的な症状だ。
The violence in the city is a symptom of deeper social issues.
その都市の暴力はより深い社会問題の兆候だ。今回は心理学的アプローチを取った解説が多かったので、この単語も品質していました。私も今ちょっと喉が痛いので、風邪の症状が出始めています。本格的になる前に治療したいところです。
Optimistic.
この単語は未来や結果に対してきっと良くなるだろうと前向きに考えることを表します。困難な状況でもポジティブな見方をする人を指すときに使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
She is optimistic about her chances of getting the job.
彼女はその仕事に就ける見込みについて楽観的だ。
Even after the failure, he remained optimistic about the future.
失敗の後も彼は将来について楽観的であり続けた。今回この単語はタコピーを形容するために使われていましたね。楽観的な人がいると周りが明るくなると思いきや、実はそうでもないみたいですね。まずはやはり、その相手の気持ちを理解することが大事なのでしょう。
Exude.
この単語は、感情や雰囲気が外に自然と溢れ出る様子を表します。人の自信や優しさ、魅力などがにじみ出るときに使います。液体や香りなどが染み出る意味もあります。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
She exudes confidence whenever she speaks.
彼女は話すたびに自信がにじみ出ている。
The flowers exuded a sweet fragrance.
花から甘い香りが漂っていた。静かには、負のオーラがにじみ出ていましたね。 対してタコピーはハッピーのオーラが、その可愛らしさや声のトーンからにじみ出ていましたが、いかんせん空気が読めないのが痛々しかったです。
Depression。
この単語は、医学的にうつ病を指すほか、一般的に気分の深い落ち込みという意味でも使われます。また、経済的な意味で大恐慌などを指す場合もあります。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
He was diagnosed with clinical depression.
彼は臨床的なうつ病と診断された。
After losing her job, she fell into a deep depression.
仕事を失って、彼女は深い落ち込みに陥った。これも非常にネガティブな単語ではありますが、この作品を語る上では欠かせない単語なのだと思います。悲しい気持ちが続いたと思ったら無理をせず、専門の医療機関へと助けを求めましょう。
Elementary。
この単語は基本的でシンプルなものを指します。また小学校の意味でも使われます。とても簡単だというニュアンスでも使えます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
These are elementary rules of grammar.
これらは文法の初歩的なルールだ。
My daughter just started elementary school this year.
私の娘は今年小学校に入学したばかりだ。今回この単語はタコピーの考え方の幼稚さを表す単語として使われていました。推理小説シャーロック・ホームズのシリーズが好きなのであれば、この単語にピンとくる人も多くいるかもしれませんね。
Victim。
この単語は事件や事故、いじめや詐欺などで被害を受けた人を指します。法律的な文脈でもよく使われ、犯罪に巻き込まれた人をクライムビクティムと呼びます。また比喩的に状況の犠牲者としても使えます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The victim of the robbery was taken to the hospital.
強盗の被害者は病院に運ばれた。
He saw himself as a victim of bad luck.
彼は自分を不運の犠牲者だと考えていた。今回の動画では主にいじめの被害者という文脈でこの単語が使われていました。動画にも話がありましたが、まずは被害者のケアが最優先です。我々は加害者にならないように注意したいところです。
Approval。
この単語は計画や意見などに対していいねと認めたり、公式に許可することを意味します。フォーマルな書類やビジネスで上司の承認という形でも品質します。日常会話では親や友達に認められるというニュアンスでも使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The project cannot start without the manager's approval.
マネージャーの承認なしではそのプロジェクトは始められない。
She smiled when she saw the approval in her teacher's eyes.
先生の目に承認の色を見て、彼女は微笑んだ。マリナの取り巻きの子供たちは、マリナの承認を得ようとしているというような文脈でこの単語が使われていました。現実社会でも、目上の人や上司、先輩などの承認は必要だと思うと、ちょっと切ない気持ちになります。
Visceral。
この単語は、理屈よりも感覚や本能に直接訴えるような強い感情や反応を指す言葉です。文学や映画のレビューなどで直感的な反応という使い方が多いです。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The movie gave me a visceral sense of fear.
その映画は直感的に恐怖を感じさせた。
He had a visceral dislike for dishonesty.
彼は不誠実を本能的に嫌っていた。今回この単語はトラウマの追体験は口に出すのもためらうほどの苦痛だというような文脈で使われていました。文字数の関係もあって、訳出していない箇所も結構あります。どうか、ご勘弁を。
Clinically。
この単語は医学的な診断や治療の場面で印象的にという意味で使われます。一方で日常的には感情を交えずに冷静にというニュアンスでも使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
The patient was clinically diagnosed with anxiety.
その患者は臨床的に不安症と診断された。
She spoke clinically about the accident without showing emotion.
彼女はその事故について感情を出さず冷静に語った。今回は心理療法士の方の解説動画なので、この単語の出番もかなり多かったと思います。日本語でもクリニックというカタカナは一般的ですので、それの副詞形と考えればなんとなく意味はわかるかと思います。
Everlasting.
この単語は文字通り永遠に続く、不滅のという意味です。愛や友情など時間を超えて続くものを表現するときに使われます。詩的ロマンチックな響きを持つ単語です。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
They promised each other everlasting love.
彼らはお互いに永遠の愛を誓った。
The mountains stood as symbols of everlasting strength.
その山々は永遠の力の象徴のようにそびえていた。君の苦しみは永遠じゃない。そんな文脈で使われていました。前述したようにロマンチックな響きを持つ単語ではありますが、今回ばっかりは否定してあげる方が素敵だと思います。
Burden.
この単語は物理的にも精神的にも主に負担を意味します。心配事や責任を背負うときにキャリア、バードンと言います。社会的な重税や借金などにも使われます。こちらがその英単語を使った例文です。
She felt the burden of responsibility on her shoulders.
彼女は責任という重荷を背負っていると感じた。
The debt became a heavy burden for the family.
その借金は家族にとって大きな負担となった。君は重荷じゃない、あるいは負担じゃないという文脈でこの単語は使われていました。自分という負担を引き算して問題を解決しようとする人は少なくないと思うので、そう言ってくれるとありがたいですね。